Although many educators experience teacher burnout year after year, it does not have to be your story for the rest of your teaching career. And so, in today's video, I am sharing some strategies and some tips on how to avoid teacher burnout altogether. Coming up next. Hey, teacher friends, Michelle Holiday here. I am a behavior strategist and I help teachers, schools, districts, and organizations learn how to manage their students and their classrooms or learning environments with less stress and less struggle. And in today's video, we are talking about how to avoid teacher burnout. Now, as I have shared in previous videos, I myself have experienced teacher burnout, the feeling of being overwhelmed, overstressed, not seeing light at the end of the tunnel, and how it affected my life in terms of my mental health, my physical health, my relationships. And I don't want to see the same thing happen for you. What I did is I made a decision that no more, I am not going to be walking this out another year of my teaching career. And so I began to put strategies in place in order for me to avoid it. And guess what? It worked. And I have been able to walk teacher burnout free for a number of years. Then I began to share it with my friends, other teachers in my trainings, and they have found success as well. Let me say to you, these strategies are practical, but if implemented and practiced, you will definitely see a change in your teacher life. Let's begin. Strategy number one, do not stress all the stuff. As a teacher, there are a lot of things, a lot of scenarios, a lot of expectations thrown at you at one time in one setting. And the expectation is that you will be able to get all the things done with all of the students, all in that day, that week, in that quarter. And guess what? It is unrealistic for anybody. And so what happens is, a lot of us teachers, we take it personal. We're like, you know what? If they ask us to do it, we're going to try to do it. And we have neglected ourselves in this manner. So, one thing I had to learn how to do is not to stress all the stuff. And so, I had to let go of some things that just were not doable, even when they were asked of me. Even when I felt like I could do it, I would try, but it just did not work out. That would bring stress into my life unnecessarily. So here's the key. Don't stress all the stuff. Take into consideration what is important. Take into consideration your priorities and take into consideration what is doable for you. Now, here's the key. You cannot compare your classroom to another classroom. You cannot compare who you are as a teacher with another teacher. Can you use them for inspiration? Absolutely. Can you use them as a resource? Yes, and please. But what I can do as a teacher, you may not be able to do. And what I can do now in education, it may take you some time to get to where I am or beyond where I am. So learn how not to stress all the stuff. Make some decisions, create some boundaries around your life, around your profession, around your task and your activities, and only concern yourself with what are priorities and what you can do in the time and space that you have. Strategy number two, remember your value. A lot of times as teachers, a lot of people have access to them, right? So of course the students have access to you, the parents have access to you, the support staff has access to you, the administration has access to you, and to some level, so does the school board, so does the government, so does the community. And based on what's happening, whether it's something they've experienced from their past, whether it's something that they've heard about, read about, whether it's some data on some paperwork, what can start to happen is judgment from the outside begins to seep into your mind and into your heart. Voices like, is that all you do? Voices like, you need to do more. Voices like, you better make it work. And so what starts to happen is that you begin to feel undervalued. And let me just say, oftentimes as a teacher, not just teachers, nurses, police officers, but oftentimes as a teacher, the effort and the sacrifice that you put in is not met with a lot of gratitude, understanding, or even honor and respect. So guess what? You are going to have to encourage yourself. You are going to have to lift up yourself. And you need to remember who you are. You are enough if you are putting in your best effort. And you are enough, you are valuable, you are needed, you are strong, you are creative, you are all the things. And so when you keep that close to your heart, close to your mind, it will affect how you respond to other people's, or even better, how you accept the negativity that is coming your way. Very key to avoiding teacher burnout, remember your value. Strategy number 3, use your time strategically. Now, oftentimes as teachers, especially if you are in the public school system or any type of school system, they're very quick to tell you how to use most, if not all, of your time. It almost seems like this movement of micromanagement has invaded the schools, and there's not a lot of consideration on how you can use your time strategically. Here's what I'll say: within the time frames that you can control, and that may mean your break times, your planning times, that your lunch time, your time before work, your time after work, begin to be very strategic on how you can use that to get ahead or stay in the flow of your teacher day. So, for example, I had to designate times when I would do copies. I had to designate times when I would do lesson plans. I had to designate time where no one else could invade my space, and I had my lunch. And in order for those designated times to happen, I had to let go of some things. So I couldn't hang out in the teacher mailroom and chat. I couldn't have meetings whenever someone felt like it. I had to be very strategic with my time. And when I became strategic, I began to feel less stressed and less overwhelmed because I was finally doing things that were helping me move ahead, helping me be proactive, helping me to be prepared for what was happening in my classroom. So start to look at the blocks of time that you do have control of and make some hardcore decisions about how you will use that time. Strategy number 4, stay connected to a support system. As I've said, and I will continue to say, you cannot do this teacher life alone. You need a support system. Preferably, you would have a number of support systems to help you, those that are in your school system, those that are in the school, and those that are out of the school. But if you are trying to do this all alone, I'm telling you right now, you will blow up, and not in a good way. So make sure you stay connected to friends, family, people you can trust. I remember from early days, I've had a really good support system. I've had friends in the system and out of the system, those who are teachers, those who are not, people that I could talk to, laugh with, share with, but also people where I didn't want to talk shop. I didn't want to talk teacher at all. I didn't want to think about it. And I would receive support in that area as well. Here's a valuable key. When you are connected to support, you are less likely to internalize things and allow it to fester and grow in a negative way within you. So make sure that you are connected and you stay connected to your support systems. And the last strategy, strategy number 5, find systems and hacks that help take the load off. One of the things I absolutely love about teaching is that no day is the same for the most part, and that you never know what you are going to get. Keeping that in mind, I also understand that every classroom is different, every school culture is different, every group of students you get each year, each quarter is different. And so it's up to you to do the research, whether that's through articles or Pinterest or even talking to people, and find out what works for you, what helps you to be more productive with less effort. I often say that teachers are actually CEOs of their classroom because there's so much that they're managing on a given day. People don't even think twice when a business CEO has systems and strategies and hacks to help them do their job better. The same thing for a teacher. Start to look at what works for you and what doesn't work for you. What helps you stay in the pace that you want in terms of your paperwork, your activities, your lesson plans, the things that you have to do for behavior, your organization, all of those things. Start to look for hacks, start to look for strategies, start to implement and put in place strategies, systems, and hacks to help you show up better as a teacher. And don't be afraid of trial and error. There is nothing wrong with trying something out, saying, that didn't work for me. It looked really cute on Pinterest, but that doesn't work in my classroom. Or, wow, I love that idea on YouTube. Let me try that in my classroom. At the end of the day, in order for you to avoid teacher burnout in your school year, you're going to have to change your mindset, decide on what your priorities are, make strategic decisions, and actually implement the practices, the methods, the systems that you have decided to put in place. Teacher burnout does not have to be a part of your story for the rest of the school year or for years to come, but you're going to have to start taking action now. That's all for today's video. I will see you next time.